A man casually passes gas on a street corner only to be shot by a stranger. Undeterred, he does it again the next day, this time meeting a divine intervention. However, it appears that even God is not too fond of him, resulting in him being trapped in a deadly time loop. This cycle has resulted in Jack dying 1234 times in the same day. Every morning, he wakes up, dodges a knife attack by lowering his head, sits up, avoids another attack while putting on his shoes, and stands up, bending over to dodge yet another attack. Jack has become so adept at predicting the time and direction of the assailant's moves that he effortlessly evades them. Using just a t-shirt, he deflects the knives and immobilizes the attacker. While the incapacitated attacker groans on the floor, Jack leisurely pours himself a hot cup of coffee and takes a sip. As the attacker gets up, Jack splashes the hot coffee in his face. Outside the window, a second attacker waits in a helicopter, brandishing a Gatling gun. Jack, having already taken cover behind a pillar, lets the first wave of bullets take out the first attacker. After an 8-second pause, Jack throws a knife, hitting the second attacker squarely in the head. The Gatling gun starts to malfunction, its trajectory veering to the right. Jack calmly walks through the hail of bullets towards the sofa and crouches down. Despite successfully dodging the falling rotor blades, Jack is still clueless about why he is being targeted. Suddenly realizing the imminent explosion of the helicopter, Jack leaps out the window, landing perfectly in a garbage truck. He had missed this landing 22 times before, once even getting run over by the truck and ending up as a human pizza. Poor guy. Jack proceeded to steal a sports car next. Each time, the driver would yell out, but no help came. Jack even had the audacity to steal his sunglasses. The third wave of assassins was closing in, and Jack had to make a quick escape. During his 79th revival, he met his end when he failed to drive fast enough and was hit by a bus. To avoid this fate, he realized he needed to reach the speed akin to that in Fast and Furious 9. However, his struggles didn't end there. He was killed 14 times by a pair of sisters, twice by a bomb maniac, thrice by a man who resembled him, and 8 times by a woman brandishing a long knife. He managed to counter and kill everyone else, except for the woman who would mysteriously appear and decapitate him with a single stroke. Each time she would kill him, she would boast, "I am Guan Yin, and Guan Yin has done this." He tried to resist, but the assassins were too numerous and too strong. He never lived past 1247. Occasionally, after evading the killers, he would find solace in a Chinese bar, drowning his sorrows in 2 bottles of liquor. Jack started to suspect that his ex-wife, Rose, had trapped him in this infinite loop. Previously, he had been a member of a Special Forces unit, but after his retirement, he neglected his duties as a father, leading to his wife divorcing him. This marked the beginning of his endless death loop. On his 125th revival, Jack took refuge in an underground shopping mall and unexpectedly saw his own son. Suddenly, he found himself outside the mall, his son in tow, and a glance at his watch revealed it was already 12:50. He had managed to survive for 3 minutes longer than his previous attempts. It was then that Jack realized he had a tracker on him, a tracker that lost signal underground, rendering him invisible to his pursuers. But just as this realization dawned on him, the killers began to appear, one after another. Holding his child in front of him, Jack felt the bullets hit his back, one after another. In his final moments, he looked at his child and felt a surge of happiness. Then he woke up again. Jack managed to apprehend one of the killers, demanding to know how they had been able to track him. But the killer remained silent, even in death. Left with no other option, Jack sought the help of a friend who worked in a security company, asking him where the most likely place to implant a tracker in the body would be. His friend suggested a tooth. Without wasting any time, Jack rushed to the bathroom, pulling out his teeth one by one, the pain only slightly dulled by the swigs of white wine he took after each extraction. Finally, he found the tooth with the tracker. Now it was his turn to fight back. Using the tooth as bait, he lured the killers out and systematically ambushed them, retaliating for their previous attacks. Once he had dealt with the killers, Jack called his ex-wife, only for her boss to answer. The boss delivered the devastating news. His ex-wife was dead, and he was next. As it turns out, the big boss was none other than his wife's employer. Jack was now compelled to confront this formidable adversary. But before he could do that, he had to face a formidable adversary, a girl who had defeated him over 20 times. Jack sought the guidance of a Chinese sword master, a world champion, for 12 consecutive years. He implored her to teach him the art of swordsmanship. They began their training with their hands, mimicking the moves of a sword duel. The master, with her superior skills, bested Jack time and again, leaving him bruised and battered every day. But with each defeat, Jack started to grasp the essence of swordsmanship. He persevered, practicing with a wooden sword even though he still took a beating. His confidence began to grow steadily. After 174 attempts, he was finally able to match the master's moves. Eventually, after countless more practice sessions, he was ready to duel the master with a real sword. After 7 bouts, Jack emerged victorious and paid his respects to the master. Returning to face his nemesis, the girl, Jack put away his gun and picked up a sword from the wall. As the girl lunged at him, Jack remained calm and deflected her attack with ease. With a swift stroke, he managed to cut a strand of her hair. They engaged in a duel once again. Jack, with his left hand behind his back, wielded the sword effortlessly with his right. The sword became an extension of his arm, achieving a state of unity between the swordsman and the sword. This time, the girl was no match for Jack's improved skills and was overwhelmed by his relentless strikes aimed at her throat. Even if she managed to disarm him, he still had the capacity to counterattack and emerge victorious. But then, the boss arrived. With just a few swift moves, Jack ended the life of the old man. However, with his dying breath, the boss revealed that he had already dispatched someone to murder Jack's son. In a desperate race against time, Jack rushed to save his son, only to discover his lifeless body. The loss devastated Jack. When he awoke, Jack surrendered to his despair, allowing the killer to finish him off. He was struck down once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. But then, something changed. Jack suddenly found the strength to stand again. He yearned to make amends. He spent his time engaging in conversation, playing games, and sharing meals with his child. Gradually, he learned how to be a father. Then, one day, his child relayed a message. His mother had called. Jack was taken aback. His ex-wife was still alive. Each morning, Jack would watch the surveillance footage that showed the boss murdering his ex-wife at 6, 7, and 14. He awoke each day at 7 o'clock, giving him a window of 14 minutes each day to save her. Upon reviving once more, Jack raced against the clock, boarding a helicopter. He reached the base by 7:10 and, using a Gatling gun, he eliminated everyone within 10 seconds by 7:12. Jack then spent an additional 2 minutes clearing the lab, and finally he managed to defeat the boss before he could kill his ex-wife. Jack had managed to save his ex-wife. Rose clung to Jack, tears of joy streaming down their faces. Yet the death loop remained unbroken. Rose revealed to Jack that in order to restore the world to its normal state, he had to merge with the time machine. The uncertainty of his survival hung in the air. This time, Jack had no plans to escape. He was ready to shoulder the responsibilities of a man. Softly, he thanked Rose for raising their child, acknowledging the countless days spent with him. He admitted that he could never compensate for their child's loss, but he had witnessed Rose's tireless efforts and boundless love. Then, for the love he bore for Rose, he walked resolutely towards the machine. Accepting the possibility of failure, he transformed from a coward into a hero.